right, we'll go ahead and get started with the webinar, what you guys have all been waiting for. I am Eden. I am on the marketing team at Sunset Learning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, this afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. With me, I have Robert Locke from Red Hat, and he is going to be presenting on the hybrid cloud and automation with Cisco and Red Hat, so tying the two together. We are very excited for his presentation today, and I hope you are too.
Thanks so much, Eden. My name's Rob Locke. I'm a senior learning architect now at Red Hat. I've been here for a little over 20 years. Started as an instructor. I've been a curriculum developer, an exam developer, and now I am spending time helping folks find their learning journeys, their learning paths with the courses and products that we have to offer. And so, along those lines, what we're going to talk a little bit about today is a partnership that, to be honest with you, is near and dear to my heart. Before I joined Red Hat, I was one of those Cisco certified system instructors way back in the day. Had my CCNP and my CCDP as part of that. So we're going to talk about the partnership and what sort of fruits are being born from this relationship. And what we're going to find is that really a lot of the elements of that partnership are really held together through the use of automation to really allow folks to get that, time to value really down. And so we're going to take a look specifically at the Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform, and that's probably where we'll spend most of our time today. And then, of course, since I am part of the training division, I have to talk a little bit about the Red Hat Learning subscription. And with Sunset Learning here, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that you can do to extend beyond what we're talking about here in this webinar. So, Cisco and Red Hat have been collaborating for more than a decade to solve our customers' challenges in the data center and at the edge. We have a shared commitment to open source innovation, enterprise class IT solutions, and collaboration that drives innovation in cloud computing, containerization, virtualization, automation, and security. So we'll see how each of these are lining up. Together, Cisco and Red Hat bring our technology to customers through what are called Cisco Validated Designs, or CVDs. CVDs provide tested architectures for standardized, repeatable deployments. Cisco's ready-to-go solutions include more than 20 CVDs with Red Hat technology. It gives you faster time to market with lower risk, a stronger total cost of ownership, and faster time to value. And they're backed by Cisco Solutions support. Converged infrastructure are pre-designed data center architectures that incorporate Cisco computing, Cisco networking, and third-party storage, delivering best practice design, ensuring compatibility, and lowering your business risk. Now, Cisco can help you modernize your infrastructure with Cisco UCS, powered by Intersight. The UCS X series is already the most powerful server in the market. Its modular design is built to keep up with all the innovation that's coming over the next 10 years and beyond. With industry-leading server connectivity for data-hungry applications, new flexible options with X-Fabric technology blur the line between blade and rack servers. And with 1600G unified fabric and GPU nodes, X series can support newer rack workloads, historically not possible on blade architectures, far more efficiently. With the density, performance, modularity, and simplified manageability, this system is disrupting the data center compute market. It provides cloud-based management that consolidates and automates your lifecycle management and operations. enabling your team to operate your on-premise and edge infrastructures anytime and anywhere. It's also the most sustainable server platform in the market. Energy efficiency has been a core focus in the product design for more than a decade, from product packaging, equipment lifespan to supply chain, and of course, what the servers enable customers to do. Now, UCS X Series has been named a Sustainable Product of the Year by SEAL Awards, validating the incredible engineering that's gone into it. This is the only system purpose-built for sustainability and designed to carry you through the innovation coming in the next decade and beyond. The X Series leads the blade market, has more than 90,000 customers, and has been awarded for its sustainability outcomes. So these go-to-market solutions that marry Cisco technology with Red Hat technology are backed by the Cisco validated designs and solution support. I mean, if you need application platform modernization and virtualization, well, we can look to Red Hat OpenShift on top of the Cisco UCS architecture. The same can be said for building and deploying full stack AI solutions with Red Hat AI. But let's not forget the powerful networking infrastructure that is powered by Cisco and automated with Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform. In fact, as we will see shortly, Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform provides the keys to quickly and easily deploy each of these CVDs. Let's look at a couple of examples of each of these four. There was a recent joint win. In this case, the customer's data center footprint is 95% based on Cisco UCS. Red Hat has an all-you-can-eat subscription for the OpenShift container platform and is one of our largest OpenShift customers in North America. The customer is moving the new division's workloads into its global OCP environment and expanding and extending the Cisco UCS UCSX data center footprint based on Cisco and Red Hat. The customer's goals were pretty straightforward. They wanted to migrate and consolidate the new division's workload into its global current OCP environment. They wanted to speed application modernization and application delivery. They wanted to increase business agility for its applications, begin migration of the workloads from VMware vSphere to OCP, consolidate that virtualization environment, automation and day zero deployment for UCSX delivered through AAP and Cisco Intersight. This joint Cisco Red Hat deployment at this customer is based on that Cisco Red Hat validated design. Well, what about AI? To simplify the on-premises infrastructure equation, Cisco offers AI pods, purpose-built solutions designed for any organization to harness the power of artificial intelligence. They are ideal for organizations beginning their AI deployment journey and include pre-designed architecture bundles using technology from industry-leading partners, which includes OpenShift for containers and Ansible for automation. They provide a framework for rapid deployment, the cloud-based management I've mentioned with Cisco Intersight, validated use cases, adoption services, full stack support. Whether you're starting out with AI or scaling complex high performance workloads beyond legacy architecture, Cisco AI pods deliver the performance, efficiency, and control you need to drive innovation. Well, our third and fourth pillars there from the earlier slide, we have these certified content collections that are included with your Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform subscription. So there's support for the edge, whether we're talking the NCS 540 or NCS 560 cell site routers that are built for 5G. We can mention that, this is for the telco edge. DNAC for industrial use cases. Wi-Fi is edge as well. Cisco IOS XE includes IE Industrial Series and Catalyst switches. So whether you're doing these things at the edge, on the campus, or in your data center, multi-site orchestrators, certified collection, and Nexus collection are available for additional scenarios. Bottom line, we are better together. Red Hat is a trusted Kubernetes platform. Cisco has been driving unified computing for more than 15 years. So pulling all of these elements together for us. So I promised we would spend most of our time looking at Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform. The recurring theme with the Cisco validated designs is the use of Ansible playbooks to provide zero-touch deployment of bare metal solutions. Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform offers certified content co-developed with our partners, providing a unique end-to-end customer support experience. More than 180 certified content collections are supported by over 70 technology partners and cover multiple use cases. Ansible content domains offer vertical specific solutions to support real-world use cases across the IT landscape. This initiative reduces the time to deliver tangible, consistent business outcomes. So let's take a look at some of those use cases. This is built teams of all shapes and sizes and at differing stages of your automation maturity benefit from the Ansible Automation Platform experience. These teams may vary in size, have different responsibilities, and team members could fulfill multiple roles depending on your organization's needs. This slide deck uses automation roles typically found in organizations. But let's be honest, all these teams of varying shapes and sizes benefit from having a shared vernacular, a shared best practices, and a shared common body of available training, regardless of role. Let's start in the upper right here with content creation, which refers to developing the actual Ansible content, such as playbooks. Content creators and developers must align to business directives without worrying about rules, boundaries, or operational overhead. These creators might have titles like engineers, subject matter experts, domain experts, or playbook writers. The operations side uses the automation platform and configures automation execution. They ensure platform availability and uptime, integration into external systems, and overall platform health. This persona might include automation administrators, network admins, cloud admins, firewall operations. And then lastly, architecture. They need to get the right automation tools to employees and make the correct investments in future projects. The architecture must foster and increase automation adoption within the organization. Bottom line, automation teams need to deliver outcomes autonomously and at other times in coordination and collaboration. Ansible Automation Platform 2 provides an end-to-end automation experience for everyone in the organization. So, how do the AAP features help with fulfilling these functions? Well, Ansible's primary goals are simplicity and ease of use, with a strong focus on security, portability, and reliability. At the foundation of Ansible Automation Platform is Ansible Core, which provides the simple nature of the Ansible language to enable a broad selection of users to become functional in a short space of time. The power of a single universal language across multiple technology domains. And the agentless model allows seamless integration with a variety of technology platforms. And the platform enables an enterprise to operate and manage with Ansible at the scale, complexity, and flexibility required by the modern enterprise. As our product experience continues to evolve, it's important to revisit the components of the platform to see how we deliver on our central promise of create, manage, and scale. These are tools and capabilities that AAP brings together into what has become a much more unified experience with AAP 2.5 and later. AAP is a distributed modular solution that independently scales execution capacity to meet business demand with minimal or no downtime. The platform supports installation on physical, virtual, cloud, and containerized environments, giving flexible design options that deliver automation across data centers, physical and virtual, the hybrid cloud, and the edge. The execution plane you see there, automation execution, is delivered closer to the endpoints that need it using a private overlay network of nodes. Localizing automation offers resilience to high latency and connection disruptions. AAP is a leader in automated configuration management, but extends well beyond it. AAP offers a growing amount of solutions across IT domains, purpose-built for your use cases. These use cases include day one operations, such as initial device configurations and application deployments, to day two operations that include event-driven automation and GitOps. But let's take a look at some of these use cases. Organizations realize the full potential of their automation if they can scale volume consistently, reliably, and securely. Let's take a look at a few of these. Everyone has been talking a lot about VM infrastructures wanting or needing to migrate to alternate platforms. How do we ensure success when doing this at scale? Well, consistency is the key, thereby reducing errors and accelerating delivery. But once the migration is done, what about managing the life cycle of those VMs? These various day two operational needs can all be met with AAP, whether it's updating configurations and installing applications, whether it's managing snapshots and backups, whether it's changing resource allocations, give a little more memory, an extra CPU, some more storage to a running VM. But it's not virtualized workloads. It's also about the hybrid cloud environment. The goal is to provide a more efficient, streamlined way for cloud admins to orchestrate, operationalize, and govern their cloud activities and workloads. We can provide that support in the public cloud over Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform. Cloud native workloads like Kubernetes or Red Hat OpenShift. Private cloud like VMware, Nutanix. all of these cloud deployments automated with AAP. Ansible network automation, all right, implementing this across a variety of vendors. Certainly Cisco, as we're talking about today, but also being able to do it with the other networking vendors, whether we're talking physical and virtual routers and switches, or load balancers, or cloud networking, wireless networking devices, SDN controllers for different domains, all of those networking devices. Over at the edge, automating scale and complexity with a consistent platform from the data center to the edge across those heterogeneous estates. Provide predictability and repeatability to automate POS systems, Wi-Fi access points, networking routers, ticketing systems, IoT devices, or anything with a programmatic API or Linux OS. A well-known problem in the security space is the lack of integration between security tools, and none of the standards proposed so far has ever been successful. The lack of integration and the increasing volume and complexity of cyber attacks means security teams are overwhelmed. Now, the good news is that there is an understanding that automation, in combination with other technologies, is a way to implement security more efficiently, which Ansible Security Automation provides. Ansible Security Automation covers 3 high-level investigation and response use cases: broad and flexible enough to accommodate real-world brownfield scenarios, but simultaneously solve real problems and help automation to be adopted and security teams to become productive faster. Ansible Security Automation enables the programmatic manipulation of logs for the triage of suspicious activities or investigation enrichment. For example, users can send edge firewall logs to log correlation or analysis facilities like SIEM, or bump the verbosity level of the logs only when they need more information to assess an event as part of an investigation. For threat hunting, a prevention activity where security analysts update their tools to identify newly released cyber attacks or malware. Ansible Security Automation supports signature manipulation to enable the automatic IDS updates. Last but not least, for incident response, we help security teams automate last-mile actions to isolate and remediate a malicious event. For example, blocking an IP or a URL on a firewall, or a set of credentials on an identity and access management system. Automating from events allows us to respond to issues faster than ever. Event-driven can be used to automate remediation or observation, speeding up the whole troubleshooting process. Event-driven Ansible gives you the ability to listen to event sources such as webhooks, Kafka, Prometheus, Cisco App Dynamics, and Dynatrace. These event sources are processed for condition using rule books, which ultimately allow us to respond with actions, automating the automation. For our last use case here, when you combine Git, infrastructure as code, and Ansible, you get continuous integration and deployment. Using Ansible workflows provides the ability to use Ansible as a CI/CD tool that can provide complete management for your entire lifecycle day 2 operations. This assists in creating the resources or updating existing resources by applying the latest infrastructure as code found within Git into your environments and making those environments ready to use. What does that Ansible workflow look like? Well, it consists of a project and job templates having the responsibility to trigger when code is pushed to a Git repository. When your infrastructure as code is pushed and merged into that Git repository, this triggers to Ansible that a push event has occurred and launches the Ansible workflow with your Ansible playbook to create or update the resources within your environment, thus allowing you to take advantage of all the benefits of the DevOps process. So, some use cases that we've taken a look at as to where AAP can fit within your organization. But Rob, I want to see some code. All right. I want to see what this actually looks like. You've talked about a universal language and all that sort of stuff. How do I go about creating that automation content? What does it look like? What are the basic building blocks? Now, I have to put this slide in because it makes our folks in the Ansible BU smile. Because this really speaks to their goal for us. Having a simple, opinionated, yet flexible developer tool chain across the developer workflow greatly reduces developer toil and increases developer joy. So we want to take a look at several of these elements today. Let's start by talking about the Ansible development tools, the tool chain, including elements to create, test, and deploy. You'll see me use several of the items listed here on this slide. But it all comes back to Ansible Core. What we see on the right is a simple playbook using a format known as YAML, yet another markup language. It is interpreted primarily based on indentations. It is given to us by Ansible Core, but Ansible Core also provides the command line tools to develop, run, and test your playbooks. As we go through these in more detail, you might have a few questions, such as, are these reusable? And can I use version control? We'll cover all of this and more a little later on. But where do we start? Well, let's start with a playbook example. As you can see, it's quite simple and consists of 3 tasks. This playbook effectively does 3 things. The language itself is simple to grasp, and since each task carries a name statement, everything is already partially documented. The value to you and I is that this is quick to learn, it's a low entry barrier, and no real development skills are needed. For example, a network operations person can understand this and read it, even though it is manipulating a Linux server. See, there's no need to train that network operations person on anything alien to their domain. So, reading through this, though, what are those key words like yum and template and service? What are behind those and how do they work? Well, the 3 main components that make up a playbook are called plays, modules, and plugins. And we're going to take each one of these. So, a playbook is composed of 1 or more plays in an ordered list. The terms playbook and play are sports analogies, so each play executes part of the overall goal of the playbook. The play usually defines which machines are affected by using the keyword hosts. The connection details specify using privilege escalation via become. Now, it's also very common for a playbook to only contain one play. Each play runs one or more tasks that use Ansible modules. All right, Rob, so what's a module? Well, the modules do things in Ansible. Modules are parameterized components with internal logic, representing a single step in a sequence. Modules are included in playbooks using the fully qualified content name, FQCN. In this particular example, the template module is called using the full FQCN of ansible.builtin.template. You'll see some other examples a little bit later on. But these modules are usually written in Python or PowerShell for Windows setups, but they can be developed technically in any language. Flexibility. Just like Lego building blocks, each task or module allows us to write the automation step by step. For example, if we need to automate VMware, we can use the VMware modules, fill in the parameters underneath, and run the play. All right, but I did say there were three things in a playbook. So, are there any other ways to configure automation? Well, plugins are pieces of code that augment Ansible's core functionality. Ansible provides a plugin architecture to enable rich, flexible, and expandable feature sets. Filters are an excellent example of the pre-built plugins that ship with Ansible. The filter plugin transforms data, for example, the to YAML, changing a playbook output to YAML format. If there is a custom authorization system in place, a Become plugin could help to implement support for that in Ansible. All right, so we talked about the three basic elements. How do we avoid every new user creating a new playbook for something we've already automated? How do I share my Apache automation from earlier with the other teams? Well, Ansible roles package automation tasks and variables in a reusable format. Teams can share roles internally with their team and with external teams across organizations, promoting automation adoption. Roles are also a method to share opinionated content securely. Users simply provide the parameters without necessarily understanding the underlying technology or automation itself. For example, a PostgreSQL DB role installs the database. Additional roles provided by different teams could configure the database security and web servers. So let's look closer at the roles directory layout and how to use them in playbooks. Roles let you automatically load related vars, files, tasks, handlers, and other Ansible artifacts based on a known file structure. After you group your content in roles, you can easily reuse them and share them with other users. Now, in this example, the deploy nginx YAML file playbook uses, as you see there, nginx app protect role with defined variables below used to customize the role execution. Now, while this sounds great, I need to package more automation content such as modules, documentation, and multiple roles. How do I version my content? How does Ansible Automation Platform provide to help me with this? Ansible content collections contain various types of automation content, including modules, multiple roles, and opinionated playbooks to solve typical use cases. Content collections are versioned, enabling better collaboration for content development. Content collections enable vendors, customers, and the community to bundle opinionated content to stakeholders. Some examples. F5 releases a new firmware version and updates the Ansible modules in their content collection to work with that latest release. IBM QRadar ships a new set of features in their product. IBM creates a new role in their QRadar collection to use these new features. So let's look a little closer at the collection directory layout and files. They look quite similar, all right, in fact, to the roles we were seeing before because the roles are one of the things included here. See, collections are published in namespaces. Namespaces can be a company, a brand, an organization, or a product under which all content lives. In this example, the namespace for this collection is NGINX Inc. Ansible uses the namespace name to look up collection content, such as plugins, modules, and roles. The example deploy YAML playbook uses NGINX Inc. .nginx underscore app underscore protect. So notice that the name is not a built-in. We're including the role from that fully qualified content name. Content collections enable independent release cycles, delivering content faster to production. Content collections introduce coding best practices such as versioning and an opinionated layout, simplifying automation adoption. Automation users reuse the corporate aligned, secure, and tested NGINX Inc. collection instead of their bespoke solutions. But keeping automation content versioned and dependencies aligned is a genuine concern, especially when the adoption of the automation grows in size and over time. So how do I include new and updated collections in production? How do I provide different teams the dependencies and versions they need for their content? How do I manage conflicting versions and dependencies between those teams and use cases? Some collections rely on specific dependencies, such as Python libraries or cloud SDKs. Additionally, collections could depend on particular dependency versions to run as intended. Some automation teams want to use the latest versions of Ansible Core to take advantage of new features and improvements, while others adopt new Ansible versions at a slower cadence. Automation content and dependencies need testing, validation, and a standard format to move from development to production quickly and safely. So, how do we keep all these components and versions aligned? How do I make sure my content runs as intended in production? Well, AAP utilizes the industry standard way to simplify versioning and dependency management. I'm assuming you've probably heard of a concept called containers. Well, in AAP, automation execution environments are those self-contained images on which all automation is run. They contain Ansible, Ansible content, and any needed dependencies. Automation execution environments ensure your automation runs consistently throughout the automation lifecycle. An execution environment will contain the tried and tested RHEL Universal Base Image as a base operating system. It'll have Ansible Core, the core automation language. It'll contain Python and any number of Ansible content collections and their dependencies, if applicable. So, how do I execute automation content when there are execution environments in the background? Well, Automation Content Navigator, Ansible Navigator, gives developers and creators a command line tool to execute automation within EEs on their development machines. In this scenario, an Ansible automation creator is leveraging Ansible Navigator to execute an Ansible automation playbook within an execution environment, which contains all the necessary dependencies for the task being executed. Navigator also includes many subcommands that used to be contained in additional binaries like Ansible doc. In this example, the run subcommand is just one of the available functions of Navigator and used to run playbook.yaml against an inventory. Ansible Navigator is also used to inspect the local environment, troubleshoot issues in execution, and review and replay past executions. Now, we've talked about establishing these content collections. We've talked about having these execution environments, all of this content. Well, hosted Automation Hub at console.redhat.com provides access to a maintained list of certified and supported content collections from Red Hat and our certified partners. Ansible content provides trusted, pre-created automation across multiple domains and use cases. Integrated documentation and examples simplify applying content collections across your infrastructure. An AAP subscription provides access to a hosted automation hub and the published content collections. But content might be provided by you privately. You might have custom enterprise content hosted in your GitHub repository, or that official content that's in Automation Hub. Or you've heard that there's a community repository that you can self-support from through Ansible Galaxy. We can import all of those into a private Automation Hub and provide it from there to different components of the platform, like Automation Controller. There, the content itself is accessed and downloaded, and Automation Controller, the control plane, uses it to automate the target systems on the right. You can also sign the content that gets published to Private Automation Hub. This allows the automation maintainers and administrators to secure the automation supply chain. With the content signing, you can make sure that the right content is consumed by anyone in your organization, which helps maintain consistency of automation across your company. We get a clear workflow, enabling CI/CD pipelines and version views of content. Now, I have to, of course, have the obligatory AI slide, right? Yes, Ansible has AI support. The one you've heard about perhaps before is the coding assistant. We released this first, which is installed and used with VS Code. And I'll talk some more about that over the next couple of slides. But introduced in 2.6 is an intelligent assistant which is embedded in the AAP UI. And so we're collectively calling both of these assistants Ansible Lightspeed. Now, Since I'm focused on content creation, we're going to take a little closer look at the coding assistant. Ansible Lightspeed with IBM Watson Code Assistant is a generative AI service designed to help individuals and teams create Ansible content more efficiently. Ansible Lightspeed connects users to IBM Watson Code Assistant, which is a foundation model that generates Ansible content suggestions based on easy to understand natural language and Ansible YAML file context. Ansible Lightspeed augments model suggestions with unique post-processing capabilities that infuse best practices and more into the suggestion. Now, couple of notes. Transparency, collaboration, and choice, a key to implementing AI. Red Hat is committed to ensuring that approved open source licenses cover all content being used to train the Lightspeed model. Upstream content contributors will also have a choice as to whether or not their work contributes to the ongoing fine-tuning of this model. Content source matching and transparency will always be a key priority. Ansible Lightspeed will always attempt to clearly reference the potential source, its author, and the license used from the training used to generate the suggestion. But we're also implementing this to meet developers where they work. Ansible Lightspeed is natively integrated into VS Code via the Ansible VS Code extension, and accepted recommendations are implemented as you create that Ansible content. This is a true experience enhancement to established ways of working, not a disruptive, disparate tool that needs to be incorporated into existing workloads. Create, adopt, and maintain. As we go to create content, multitask generation means that we can generate multiple task suggestions for your Ansible task files and playbooks with natural language prompts. The foundational model is built for Ansible, provides more accurate recommendations than general purpose Gen AI tools. In adoption, content source matching provides the transparency into the origin of code recommendations, building trust in the AI-generated code. Post-processing capabilities helps ensure that code follows accepted Ansible best practices. As you go to maintain, there is an Ansible code bot, which makes it easier for teams to review, test, and apply improvements to that automation code base. In our short time, we have taken a look at Ansible content collections, providing curated, reusable automation content hosted in Automation Hub or our own private Automation Hub. Ansible development tools to help us build, test, and deploy our Ansible playbooks. Red Hat Ansible Lightspeed, which provides faster and easier content creation. And we've talked about GitOps, when linked to the above content can provide our DevOps desire for infrastructure as code. Now, of course, this wouldn't be a Red Hat training and certification webinar without the obligatory plug at the end as to where you can take what we've talked about and apply it to ongoing learning. A quote here from Rodrigo Perez: Red Hat training certification allowed them to accelerate the adoption curve for new platforms and technologies. So we have a number of courses which focus on the foundational pieces to become an automation engineer, how you go about authoring playbooks. Now, what I will point out to you is that all three of these courses teach the same fundamental playbook authoring. The difference between the three are the use cases. So I don't generally recommend that people take all three. What I do is I tend to recommend that depending upon your use case, are you focused on automating Linux systems? Are you focused on automating network infrastructure? Are you focused on automating Windows systems? And direct you to which of these three will provide you with your best avenue forward so that it's relating to some domain that you're comfortable with. Now, all three of these ultimately feed into some more enterprise or advanced courses that we have. And so we have one that's focused on best practices and more advanced playbook techniques and creating shared execution environments, linking all those elements together. We also have an introduction to event-driven Ansible so that you can automate that automation. And finally, one that focuses on that large-scale enterprise deployment, introducing things like automation mesh as we go to push that execution plane in a redundant, reliable way throughout your enterprise. Students who've attended training with us have put together a number of wonderful quotes. The best training I've had and best written explanations I've read. Simply the best training program I've ever used. Red Hat training is top notch, and this course did not disappoint me. So, just a selection of some of the things that have come along. Now, we offer training to you in a number of modalities, depending upon your needs. If you like to be led in a instructor-led fashion, where you have a live instructor that's delivering this content to you, we have open enrollment public sessions available to you. We also, if you want to bring an instructor into your organization, we can do a private group delivery, either physically at your location, or if your team is spread out, we can do it virtually online. For those of you that are more focused on doing just-in-time training, you want to be able to cherry pick the elements, the chapters, the pieces that you want to do. There's self-paced learning where you can obtain a single course, or we have the Red Hat Learning subscription, which gives you access to the entire plethora of courseware and all of those courses that I had listed earlier. You'd have access to those and many more. We also do hybrid learning where we marry instructor-led with some of that self-paced. The RHLS premium tier gives you access to that open enrollment schedule, and the boot camps, a private tailored instructor-led session, which can then be married with RHLS for ongoing learning. So, what we've discussed today, we've taken a look and identified how Red Hat training can extend your knowledge of Red Hat products. We've seen how Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform reduces the time to deliver tangible, consistent business outcomes. And we've seen how Cisco validated designs produce results with faster time to market with lower risk.
Thank you so much for everyone for attending. Thank you, Robert, for that amazing presentation. We hope that everyone found some value in this webinar. And like we said, the recording will be sent to you at the end of the week, as well as the slides. So thank you so much for attending, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.